Hi everyone. We hear a lot of stories about how women would try to baby trap their guy to stay in a relationship. It's not often that we hear the opposite. But today's Reddit story, it is about that. Let's get into it. It's titled, Am I the a-hole for kicking my fiance out after he jokingly said he got me pregnant on purpose? Ooh. I, 23 female, have been with my fiance, 26 male, for 3 years. We met while I was on holiday, and a few weeks after, he followed me on Instagram, and the rest is history. We got engaged last year, and a month later found out I was pregnant. We have a beautiful 6-month-old. We hosted Thanksgiving this year, and my fiance was drinking quite heavily, and after dinner, me and my mom were talking about the wedding, which my parents are paying for. I overheard my fiance tell my brother, who was just as drunk as him, that he needed to tie me down and get me pregnant before I realized what a dickhead he was. They laughed it off, but it rubbed me the wrong way because our baby was not planned. I wasn't ready for a child and we were using protection, but after a few instances where the rubber broke, I decided it would be safer if I got on birth control. The first month on birth control, I got pregnant. We were told that could happen and he said he will pull out to be safe, but I still got pregnant. I got scared as F, but I personally didn't want to get an abortion. I 100% believe in the right to get an abortion, I just didn't want one. And so I decided to keep the baby. I work for my dad's company, and my fiance works at a country club. Money wasn't necessarily why I didn't want a baby. I just wanted to do more before I started a family. I spoke to my fiance about what he said, and at first, he said he didn't remember saying it, which was believable because of how drunk he was. But then he said it was just a joke, and it was meant as a compliment because I'm so amazing. So I said, okay, good, because we're getting a prenup. I was just joking, but I was also wanting to see how he reacted, and he was pissed. He said, why the F would he be signing a prenup that now that we have a baby together, a house together, and that he would not sign one? How we wouldn't need one because we're never separating, and that me mentioning a prenup is insulting and emasculating. I never felt threatened or anything like that, but he did make me uncomfortable and he woke our baby up, so I told him to leave, which he did. The day after I kicked him out, he sent me a long apologetic message about how it was out of character of him to get loud, which it was. He never acted like that before. And I replied saying, I appreciate the apology, but I still need a day or two to think everything through. The next day, he sent me a bouquet to the apartment. Sunday, he sent me a booking confirmation of a massage he booked for me at the club and offered to come over to watch our son and cook dinner. Tonight, he sent me a message saying that I'm being an a-hole and that I'm taking a meaningless joke to heart and that he's wasting money he could be saving for the wedding on the hotel. But now things that went over my head before, I'm starting to think it's sus, but breaking up my family over this doesn't seem right. Am I overthinking this or being an a-hole? Okay, first of all, you are not the a-hole, OP. Your fiance's true color is finally coming out. He did baby trap you. He wanted to keep you. I mean, come on. Seriously, I find it kind of suspicious that the condom broke so many times. I also find it suspicious that when you mentioned the prenup that he freaked out. What? I mean, he should be understanding if he truly did care and love you. I kind of feel like he has alternative motives here going on. Maybe what he said, to your brother in that drunken state might be the true person that he really is. I'm just saying. Anyways, so the OP does provide an update. Just update. A lot of people were asking for context when I said I wanted a prenup at the time. I wasn't being serious. Maybe I was being, but I just wanted to get a reaction. But based on the 3 years we've been together, I never would have imagined that he would react it the way he did. Why did the joke bother me so much? About a year ago, he lost his job. Oh, some more context here. Okay. He was never really clear why. For the next 3 to 4 months, he didn't really do much. He said he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do next, and that was the first time he brought up having kids, indicating that he was ready. We had a candid conversation on my part about how I want kids, just not anytime soon. Again, red flag there, and it's very suspicious. I enjoy my job. I had trips planned and I wanted to be married first. He agreed with me that we should wait 3 to 4 years. My dad's company got a contract at the club, which is how he got his job there. But during the time he was out of work, my girls would joke that he's a stay-at-home boyfriend and that I'm the provider, and he'll be a stay-at-home dad because I was paying the bills / rent by myself, which at the time didn't bother me. I used to live there by myself before we got together, so it wasn't a big deal. But I guess it was for them that made me first question. To be honest, I don't know how long the condoms were breaking. A lot of people are saying they've never had them break, and I can't say I remember ever happening before. I noticed the first time that it looked like it had split, and then I checked it the next time that was also broken, which is when I decided to get an IUD, which he didn't want me to, but I stood my ground and we compromised. I got on the pill. I know we should have continued using protection, but he said he ran out and that I'm on the pill and don't need them. In hindsight, yes, I should have insisted we still use them, but I choose not to have that battle. I thought we would be okay. He knew my opinion on abortion and that I wouldn't get one. If I got pregnant, I would raise a baby unless it was for a medical reason. Money-wise, my family's successful. I work for my dad's company. I have 2 trust funds, one of which I got at 18. Before I fell pregnant, I was making plans to start my own house flipping business, but I decided to put that on hold. I still work from home on flexible hours, but he said once we're married, he wants me to stop working so I can focus on our kids and that he'll support us. But I've never really liked that idea, mainly because although I've never had to worry about money, my parents always taught us the importance of financial stability, and my mom always said to never be financially dependent on anyone. Plus my fiance's current salary, I'm not sure would cover all of our expenses. The only reason why I haven't told my dad is because they have a good relationship, and I don't want to blow everything up over an overreaction on my part. Wow, okay, after that update, OP, he is clearly after you, not truly because he loves you, but for control and also for your money, it sounds like, because you, like you have mentioned, your family is successful. You had trust funds that you got at 18, so that means financially, you are good. And he kind of sees you as a piggy bank. And good for you for supporting him for that 3 to 4 months when he was out of work, while he was trying to figure things out. Cool. But then, like, at the same time, the timing of how he lost his job, and then he starts, oh, I'm ready for kids. That is a complete red flag to me. How can you possibly say that when he lost a job and you're the only sole financial provider? That does not sound like a stable situation where you should be having kids. So that's red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 was the whole prenup thing. No, actually, I take it back. That should be... Well, anyways, the point is that he got upset with the prenup. That's red flag number 1. Red flag number 2, he decided that he was ready for kids after he lost his job, but then he got hired at the club that your family business is involved with. Okay, great. And then he wanted you to stop working to take care of the kids and have him financially, take care of everything. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. This guy, your fiance, is just a walking red flag, and I don't trust him. He is just not a good guy. But let's see what other commenters have to say. First commenter says, I agree with other commenters. You should think about a prenup seriously. Prenups both protect both parties. When you talk, I think you should ask him what his real serious issue is with the prenup, especially if it would also protect his assets in case of separation. If you are never going to separate, then why would having one even make a difference to him? He should feel so confident in his ability to love you and make this relationship last that some hypothetical future where you aren't together isn't even a concern. Not the a-hole. Not overthinking. The time to talk about finances together and your future is now, not after the wedding. I completely agree. Another commenter says, not the a-hole. He is love bombing you. Make a prenup mandatory. Along with anger management and couples therapy, if you choose to stay with him, don't add him to any documents. What is yours. Make a trust to your kid's inheritance and have someone other than him be in charge of it. Talk to your dad and see what he says. Another commenter says, you work for your father's company. You absolutely need a prenup that states that any interest in your father's company is not his. Does your father have an attorney? Meet with the attorney. Go over your assets and let the attorney decide if you need a prenup. Honestly, that statement, we are never breaking up, is not romantic. It's frightening. What he is saying is that he doesn't intend to let you leave. There are men who will kill before they let a woman leave them. Think carefully here. You are living in your apartment. What happened to his apartment? Did he know about the family business when you started dating? Maybe I'm too cynical and suspicious, but this does not sound good. The old Romans had a saying, and wine is truth. He wasn't joking. I agree with this. Let's see. So after that, the OP does provide another update to this. Now let's get into it. So she writes, I didn't want to initially talk to my friends or family about it because they're all quite close to him, and I didn't want to make a mountain out of a molehill. I didn't want to initially talk to my friends or family about it because they're all quite close to him, and I didn't want to make a mountain out of a molehill and cause drift in their relationships. Yesterday, we had a conversation about where I was at, but he said he couldn't go back to the hotel because they kicked him out for smoking in the room. He stopped smoking while I was pregnant, but he said I was stressing him out, so he had to stay at the apartment. While I was on the phone to one of my girls in the bedroom, he came in and took the phone off me and told me to come and eat. Wow. While we were eating, he said that he understood what I said and that things need to change for us to move forward. He then proceeded to list all the things I need to do to make things better. His tone, the whole conversation, was just making me uneasy. I texted my dad saying that he was making me uncomfortable when he wasn't looking. I went to check on the baby, and when I came back, I saw him take my keys out of my purse, but didn't say anything. He took my silence as an agreement to everything he said and went to bed. Instead of the couch like we had agreed. Like everything was normal, I stayed in the living room and my dad, bless him, drove 6 hours to come and get us. My dad got to the apartment around 5 this morning while my fiance was still sleeping, and we left. Me and my son are at my parents' house now. My fiance has been blowing up my phone since this morning. I sent a text to him as we were driving off saying he wasn't respecting the fact that I needed space and time to just figure everything out so he could stay in the apartment and I'll stay at my parents'. We haven't officially broken up or called a wedding off. My parents, who paid for it, have said that they don't care if I want to call it off, but I feel bad. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who replied to my original post and private messaged me. I didn't think people would actually care. I feel like every option I have is bad. The thought of being a single mom is scary. If my fiance's behavior gets worse, that would be crap. If we cancel the wedding and cost my parents thousands of dollars, I'll feel guilty. And if we break up altogether, we just got a house together. We're both on the mortgage, our joint accounts, and I've been with him since I was 19. Being without him is for good, also scary. Ooh. OP, don't worry about losing thousands of dollars for canceling the wedding. Your life is worth much more. Your life and your son's life is worth much better. And like your parents said, they don't care if you cancel it because they care about your safety and about how to protect you. So don't worry about that. I understand that you're going to feel guilty about it, but you shouldn't. You should see it in the bigger picture. It's okay. You should definitely leave this guy. This guy sounds unhinged and dangerous. Okay, let's see what some of the commenters have to say about this update. It says, not the a-hole. It was very worrisome he took your car keys. He's also very controlling. There's a lot of red flags. His comments about getting you pregnant and how everything is your fault and you need to change to make it go better. You're young and shouldn't waste your life on something you will regret. He will not change because in his view, you're the one who needs to shape up. Yup, I totally agree. Another commenter says, do not feel guilty about stuff that can be replaced or remade. Money, not a problem. Canceling the wedding, embarrassing for him because you know why you need to leave. He physically ripped the phone away from you, took your keys, and was absolutely being abusive and throwing all the red flags you needed to get your dad to get you out. You and your baby's safety is top priority. If you go back to him, you will then have a right to feel guilty putting you and your child in harm's way. Do not go back to him. Get your father and police to show up at the apartment with you to retrieve your stuff. Go to court for child support and custody. Do not give him a chance to get more violent and controlling. Please, OP, you only have one life. Do you want this to be your life 20 years down the road? He admitted exactly why he got you pregnant, and you should take it at face value with everything else he's showing you. He thinks he has you trapped, and you need to prove him wrong. I completely agree with this commenter. Again, the OP provides another update 3 weeks later after the previous update. It says, initially I went no contact. Because he couldn't reach me, he called the police saying that he thought I was having some type of breakdown and have PPD and that he was afraid of me and our son's safety. The police alerted my parents that I've been reported missing and asked if they've seen or heard from me. And we explained that I left because I felt uncomfortable in the apartment with him. So I started speaking to him again. I told him why I left, but apologized for leaving the way I did. And he also apologized for everything that's gone down. He said he bought stuff for me and the baby for Christmas already and wanted to give it to us, so asked if he could come to my parents' house at Christmas. It was our son's first Christmas despite what's going on between us. He's still his dad, and I don't want to make him miss out. I explained all this to my parents who agreed to let him come, and we have a good day. He bought the stuff like he said, and he was respectful and didn't drink. It felt like how it used to. He came back the next day because he left his wallet, but we talked for a while. He promised to stop drinking because that was what caused everything. And he was alright with us postponing the wedding, saying he just missed his family. He asked if we could come back with him, but I said I want to stay here. He said he understood. We didn't speak for a few days, and he sent a care package with things he knew I liked, and he wrote in the letter that said, since all my stuff was still at the apartment, he wanted me to have things that reminded me of home. I called him to say thank you, and we FaceTimed so he could see the baby. I went out on New Year's Eve with some friends from high school, and the day after, he texted me asking if I got home alright and if I was hungover. I said I was fine, but then I realized I didn't tell him I was going out. So I asked how he knew, and he said he saw me on Insta story and knew it was my first time drinking since giving birth. He said he didn't go out and could have watched our son, but I didn't plan to go out. Originally, I was going to stay home, but my mom encouraged me to go. And by the time I decided I was going, it was too short notice. He wouldn't have been able to come in time since it's a 6-hour, maybe even longer drive depending on traffic. But I could have at least let him know, I guess. My dad and brother wanted to drive back to the apartment to get my stuff, so I asked him when would be a good time for them to go, and he said that I didn't need to move out, that even though he thinks I'm blowing everything out of proportion, he will wait for me to get over it so we could be a family again, because he needs us, and that he'll stay in the hotel and that I should move back in. The wedding's been canceled. My parents lost most of the deposit, which I'm gonna pay them back. And everyone I could tell that the wedding's been canceled. I told them I'm not sure if he's done the same. At Christmas, my sister-in-law was complaining about the new iOS update and how annoying it was. And I haven't updated my phone yet, so I decided to do it then and left my phone on charge. When I had remembered and went to check on my phone, it had reset, and my ex said that his one did the same thing. My parents says I can stay as long as I need, but I feel like a burden. They were supposed to go away in a week, but they've canceled it and they lost all the money on the wedding. So I need to figure myself out soon. A part of me thinks I'm being stupid throwing away my family over what started as a drunk joke, but it's becoming more than that, and I just lost at the moment. Yeah, that's where I am at now. But I want to thank you all. I've had a lot of messages and people checking on me. I know some are probably disappointed that I haven't cut him off completely, but it's not that simple, especially with the baby and these last few weeks. He's gone back to how he used to be. I'm realizing I'm probably caused a lot of this by overthinking the joke. I don't think you're overthinking it at all, OP. I honestly think that you really need to get out of the situation. I understand that you can't really cut him off, but it's not a good idea to go back with him. He is definitely not the right person to be with you. I mean, he sounds like he's just using you financially. He is controlling. He's abusive. He's love bombing you right now. He's saying everything to make you come back home. I do not believe his lie, and you shouldn't fall for it either. Anyways, what do you guys think of the story? Do you have any advice for the OP? I would love to hear about it in the comment section. And remember, if you like these types of stories, to continue to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.